This match review comes to us from Empfarious, or Empfarious, however you want to say that, with 2.2k hours in the game of Dead by Daylight. So over half, or not over half, over double, the other way, over double the amount I expect most people to have general fundamentals down, like having quick chases, being able to pressure gens, that sort of thing. You're playing the Xenomorph, the Xenomorph, which is the right person to ask for that, because I have a top stat and I wrote the guide in the character. So also Xenomorph in general, fairly good killer, kind of like a high B, low A tier killer, especially when played right. So very, very good pick for killer, so that's not working against you. Mount Orman can be kind of tricky to work with. Orman 3 is fairly okay, and it's fairly balanced, but Orman 1 and 2 seem to err against the killer, so it kind of depends on what variation you got. Let's take a look here and see your perks. All right, you have Emergency Helmet and Self-Destruct Bolt, which is great. When you're playing the Xenomorph, you want to run 2 of 3 add-ons. Doesn't matter which combination of these 3 add-ons you run Emergency Helmet, Self-Destruct Bolt, which is what you have now. Emergency Helmet helping you with your charges against the flame turrets. Self-Destruct Bolt speeds up your vault going through vaults while in crawler mode by 30%. Then you have Lambert Star Map, which decreases the range of turrets by 2 meters. So you are running the Emergency Helmet and Self-Destruct Bolt, so you're doing turret and then vault add-on. If you do double turret, that's also fine, but any combination of these 3 is typically great. Your build, also not bad. No Way Out, Bamboozle to synergize with Self-Destruct Bolt. Deadlock and Dead Man's not very strong, but still very helpful slowdowns. So if you lose, it's not going to be because of your build or your add-on choice. Oh, hey, all. How's it going, friend? How are you? I'm kind of confused why you just kind of like came out of a control station without any sign that anybody was there. You get so much free info from the Xenomorph's base kit while you're in the tunnels. That's kind of weird that you didn't wait for a sign that somebody was there to come out. You get 16 meters of footstep reading and sound reading while you're in the tunnels, and you get 12 meters kill instinct when you pop out of the control station. So I don't know why you didn't wait for the footsteps or a sound to really like incentivize you to come out of the control station early. You're just kind of like wasting time now. Oh, did you? Hopefully everything's okay. Oh. There's nothing serious going on. That was really risky. You could have thrown that tail attack as she was vaulting because she's in a locked animation. Waiting for her to finish the animation just makes it a guessing game. And for consistency's sake, you just avoid guessing games. If you're going to do what you just did there, where you're trying to hit around the pallet, go from right to left. Go from right to left, because that'll put your tail attack hitboxes around the pallet instead of having to barely scrape by it. So go from right to left next time. Yeah, exactly, Hulk. Yeah, exactly. The room where I stream is like down in the basement. So like, obviously no windows down here. So you had a pretty long first chase because you made some poor decisions there. It wasn't too incredibly long, but it was a little on the long side. Fully absent? That's not good. At 4 AM, you're not sleeping? Why are you... You hook her? There you go. Yeah, it's just cold here. I would go outside more, but it's just cold here, I know. Why do you just let them unhook there uncontested? There's somebody like literally within walking distance of you healing. Could you just don't interrupt that? I would imagine if you had like pop or something like that, like pop eruption that you want to deliver to a gen that's like getting close to done, I could see you trying to go find a gen instead of breaking them up, but you don't have that. So the right option here definitely would have gone break up the heal and chase the unhooker. You hear a turn, you don't decide to deal with it, which is kind of disappointing. That's going to come back to haunt you later. As somebody who's getting kind of lazy about dealing with their flame turrets lately, like, I'm understanding why I give that advice. I'm like, man, I'm really right about that. So you're just going to come back and go after the same person you went after before. You can hit over this. That was a good attempt. That was a good attempt. If she wasn't paying attention, she could have fallen for that. You can hit over that rock. You should try to. Not even attempting. You're playing this like an M1 killer right now. You get this rock, you can hit over. So general rule of thumb, and it's not 1-to-1, because there's a lot of exceptions. But the general rule of 1-to-1 is if that tail, like this tail that's on your screen, think about like from the third person perspective, like the total height of your tail just sitting above you. If your tail is taller than the object you're in front of, you can hit over it. That's the general 1-to-1 rule. Or it's not a 1-to-1 rule, but that's the general rule. If your tail hump above you is like higher than the object, you can hit over it. So the fact that you let her get like 3 or 4 loops of this path tile, when you could have hit her like probably 5 or 6 times, is not ideal. Also, you spent this whole time just like tunneling down Fung, and you haven't chased another person at all, and you have no way out. That is not working in your favor. You also just saw... Okay, I don't know why you're doing this. You also literally just saw somebody pass in front of the Orman sign before you went down into the control station. So this is now 2 times that you've been aware of multiple survivors at the hook, and for some reason you forego this to go like crawl away. I don't know why you're doing this. Like I said, if you had like pop, you don't want to waste your pop. I can see you would be like, okay, I need to see what gen I need to hit with pop. I need to go over there. Like that, I can kind of see. But you don't. So you're just kind of like giving them free unhooks for like no reason. And I don't know why you're doing that. Because free unhooks turn into free heals as well. Especially right there where you guys had like a gen nearly done. Also, you didn't break that turret. Just break your turrets. I don't know why. I don't understand that. Pointer and pinky finger? Oh yeah, because like the double horns, you know. Rocka. Must we do the peace sign, but I do that. You're just gonna hard tunnel this Fung down? Okay, I'm gonna say this. I don't mean to say any disrespect to you. Hard tunneling a person like this only works if the team is not coordinated. What you're doing is you're relying on the team being not a 3 or 4 man. Because a 3 or 4 man calls out, hey, I'm being tunneled, and the other 3 just sit on gens, and you lose the match, and you get a 1k. This only works because you're taking advantage of their lack of coordination. This is not something that will consistently get you wins. Yeah. Especially since, you know, she has anti-tunnel perks like Dead Hard, which she missed there, unfortunately. Like, it's a huge risk to do that. I have a funky feeling you're going to win this, not because you're winning this, but because the survivors aren't doing enough to counteract you. Unfortunately, they don't have DS. Honestly, she has DS. These other 2 are on gens. You lose. She has DS. The other 2 are on gens. You lose this. Other 3, including Aura, too. 1 perk would cause you to lose the game. She has the 3DS. I mean, that is more fun, but not after 1 DVD. There should be at least one more gen popping soon, if not two. And he's waiting me. I appreciate it. Yeah, step and knock me with your new shoes. Let's do that with a pair of shoes, and it's still in the garage. Those shoes have not come back out of the garage. All right, enjoy rivals. They were coming in with the raid. Should have tail attacked her over that pallet. You don't seem to go for tail attacks over locked animations. Is there a reason for that? That is for not even just for Xenomorph, but for any range killer. The most advantageous thing you can do is use your range attack while the survivor's locked in animation, whether it be vaulting or dropping the pallet in your face. Anything that would lock them in place is the perfect time to use your range attack. But you seem to like hesitate and wait for them to get done. I'm not sure why you do that. It's just it's like a really extreme lack of micro efficiency. And this is a good piece of advice too, because this will not only help you on Xenomorph, but any range killer that you play. Hi, Doc. Yeah, Dracula's Hellfire can be really frustrating. Absolutely. There you go. Breaking the turret right away. Remember an example of like why the tail attack or like the tail attack matters or dealing with turrets matters is because right now you have your tail attack. So you may have lost like 3 or 4 seconds in chase, which gives her a longer distance, but now you have your anti-chase tool, which will make this chase's time overall shorter. Yeah, any projectile. Any projectile. Where else? Locked animations are your friend. That's actually a new thing you can do with, even with Portia, little Houndmaster. Wait for him to drop the pallet and then send the dog and hit him. Wait for him to vault, send the dog, hit him. You can do that with her too. Portia. I think because this team isn't coordinated, like they're not a 3 or 4 man, they're gonna buckle because they did not do enough to counteract the tunnel on Fung early. I feel bad for teams that end up in this situation. Well, like the only reason the match is going so poorly is just because of a lack of coordination. It's like you can't help that, right? There's nothing you can really do about it. Yeah, clearly, see, like, they sent 2 people for the save. Clearly, they're not together, right? They sent 2 people for the save, so clearly they're not together. Or else they would have said, I'm getting the save. So really, your hard tunnel here is just benefiting off of them not being together. This plays out completely differently if they're even in partial comms. And you may be wondering, Brand, why does that matter? Because clearly they're getting the results. Because in the match reviews, we teach consistency. We teach habits that will work against any group of survivors that you've both the really, really sweaty ones, but also like the coordinated ones. So the strategy that you're seeing displayed in this match works specifically on uncoordinated teams, but will not work on even partially coordinated teams, which is why I'm dissuading it. Live light love. Live life, love. That was good. That was clean. Good job. I wish you had done that more. Like, if you had done that with that Fung at that other path tile, like what you just did with that Aura, this game would be going far more. It would end up. Because that just would have been at least good. Then you give her like 6 or 7 loops of that one small little tile. Yeah, she just gets stuck here. No pallet. So not much she can do. Oh, she still has DS. See, if you got hit by a DS by that Fung earlier in this game's over. That's the sad part. Like if Fung had this perk, the game's done right now. That's the other thing. Is like Fung actually has like DS or off the record. This match also plays out differently. You can't just bet on players not having specific really good meta perks. Nice shot. Really good meta perks to win. You can't just bank on them not having commonly run perks. Yeah, it's definitely his weakest form, Flutter. Absolutely. Behavior keeps nerfing it for some reason. Or bizarre. Even more strange. And before somebody's like, I can't believe you're playing with one hand. Oh my gosh. It's a match review. I can't believe he's doing that. I don't know why you're doing this. This needs to stop. This whole just like, oh, I'm just going to jump up to check for some reason. You would know if they're up there if you're listening, or if you saw any footfalls. Just pop it up, just on a hunch. I'll do that like every once in a blue moon, just because like I have been playing this game way too long. I have a general idea of like people spawn at the beginning of the game. So if I don't immediately hear something, like them working on a gen, I'll be like, well, this is a general spawn point for this map, so I'll just check here. But like you're doing it like throughout the match, just ready. I'm just wasting time. Yeah, it's too far. You have 4.8 meters. What the heck? You didn't break that? That's a god pallet. Break that, please. Please break that. That is so risky. And she's just searching a chest with me right here. The survivors are defeating themselves. The survivors are the second killer. She knew you were right there too. I don't know why she just started in the chest unless she was like moving up. Based off on only Dracula, am I bad? Are you bad? No. Are you underdesigning the character? Absolutely. I don't know why you threw that so high up. You know something with Dracula? He gets released. He gets a first. I have to take a look at what you mean by that, because I think I'm misunderstanding in my head what you're saying. Kind of just a throw at this point. I usually watch out the full match, but it's just like watching these guys trade over and over until the game inevitably ends. I'll play this one. Alright, this is kind of an unfortunate game. It's like this, like, I know you probably sent this in on the basis that, like, hey, I got the 4K, so I did good, right? But realistically, the survivors lost this game, you didn't win it. Like, the survivors didn't play well, not as much as you were playing so well that they just couldn't do anything about it. Which is good. It's still, that's the best scenario for a match review match, but I think the intention of setting this was like, hey, at 4K, look how good I did. But that is, like, it's more on the fault of the survivors, and we'll get into that. So first, in terms of your main takeaways for this match review, first, for your tail attacks, please try to take advantage of people getting into locked animations, whether that be vaulting or going over pallet. This not only counts for Xenomorph's tail attack, but realistically any ranged attack in the game, like Hunter's Hatchet or something like that, Victor Pounds, things like that. The what you were doing this match was like waiting for people to vault or waiting for people to throw the pallet and then trying to hit them afterwards. And the reason you do it while they're in locked animation is because they quite literally can't move. While they're vaulting, while they're throwing the pallet, they are stuck in one position, which means you only have to aim at one place. If you wait till after, it becomes a guessing game of trying to account for where they're going to move afterwards, and it becomes a guessing game. And for the sake of consistency, you avoid the guessing game as much as possible. So I would avoid doing that. I would start focusing on trying to hit people while they're in the locked animation and not trying to like hit them afterwards. Second thing is, for some reason, you just really didn't get the most out of your tunnel system, because your tunnel system has free info for the footstep and sound rating, but you weren't really using that. You were just kind of just like running back and forth and just popping up in control stations and praying somebody was there without having any inkling that somebody was there. Realistically, you should be only popping out of control station if you have an inkling that somebody is there. That being, you hear a sound, you see a footfall going that direction. There are going to be niche moments where, just from a macro sense, this is vaguely where the survivor should be, but you were just kind of like popping up just to pop up and hoping the 12-meter killer instinct would catch them, and that's just like... I don't think there was a time this match that worked for you. Unless I'm misremembering. I don't think there was a time this match where just randomly checking a control station ever worked for you, which means it was just a net loss of time, and match time is gen time. So I would stop doing that. And now we get into like the macro game stuff, and this is where we get into what I was talking about earlier. Your third takeaway is that if Fong has DS here and her team is even slightly coordinated, like they're in a, not even a 4-man Swift, like even if they're 3-man, and I'm being tunneled, everybody else just does gens, she hits her DS, and you lose this game. The only reason you hard tunneling her out the gate like that worked is because the team is not coordinated, even slightly. And it was very clear to see that they weren't, because even after Fong had died, they were sending 2 people for saves, like, consistently. So they obviously weren't able to communicate, hey, I'm getting the save. Because they wouldn't have sent 2 people otherwise. So you realistically, like, just took advantage of their lack of coordination. And if you run into a group that is even slightly coordinated, this strategy does not work. So I would dissuade you from doing that, because you're going to end up in situations where you pub stomp a lot doing what you're doing, and then you're going to run into teams that are competent and together, and you're going to have a miserable time. And that rude awakening is going to feel really bad, and I don't want that for you. So be careful about telling somebody straight out of the gate like that, because it's a huge gamble. Huge gamble. Fourth takeaway, so we're up to 4 at this point. There's a lot of situations where you just kind of like gave the survivors free resets, and I'm not sure why you were doing that. I noticed at the beginning of the match that, like, despite the fact that the Laura, I think it was, unhooked Fung, like, within walking distance of you, like, you were like 18 meters away. You just went into the tunnel and just went around the map trying to find somebody else. Like, you knew where 2 people were. There was one person that just came off the hook, and there was the unhooker. Even if you don't want to be mean and hard tunnel, which clearly you have no qualms with, there was the unhooker over there. And then, at the very least, even if you don't fully finish that chase, Fung has to now play injured, which is a very susceptible and vulnerable place to be. So there was multiple times in this match where like there was that other example when you hooked Fung the second time, Laura just walked by the Orman sign, and you're like, okay, well, like you can go do that. I don't know why you were just like giving up pressure like that. Because what happens realistically in that scenario, if you take advantage of it, is if Fung's on hook, you see Laura right next to the hook, you chase Laura, you and Laura begin chase, then a third person has to get off a gen somewhere to come help with that situation. Because now the intended unhooker that was supposed to get it now can no longer get it. So somebody who was supposed to be a gen jockey at that moment now becomes another unhooker. So you have 1 person in timeout on hook and then 2 people going for an unhook, which means there's only 1 person on a gen, which is good for you. That means that's far less gen progress on the map. But you're constantly foregoing and just giving up that pressure for seemingly no reason. And there's no way I can spit it in my head that makes sense. Are you doing that? So yeah, a lot of takeaways with this one. Half of them were character related and half of them were macro game related. So yeah, I would take those. It's a lot to take in. It's very deceptive because you see 4K. You see a 4K, so clearly good things happened. but realistically, it was a lot of risks and gambles that fortunately paid off, but will not consistently pay off. Let's start aiming more towards consistency and less towards gambling. But yeah,